Okay, guys, today we are still working on systems, solving systems, but we are doing elimination method. Elimination is just how it sounds. You have to eliminate one thing in order to solve for the other thing. So we are going to be eliminating something, getting rid of it. So the steps, make sure that the equations are lined up. And by lined up, I mean the x's are together, the y's are together, the equal signs are together, and the numbers are together. So it's like it's one on top of each other. All right? Step 2, we're going to either add or subtract the equations to eliminate one of the variables with a common coefficient. Okay? Common coefficient, that means the number that they have in common. So like this one's 1 and this one's 1. They have the same coefficient, so I can eliminate them. Okay? Step 3, we're going to solve for the remaining variable. So once we eliminate it, we're going to solve for the other variable. And then we're going to substitute, just like yesterday, substitute your answer into either the original equation and solve for the other variable. So let's go ahead and start solving. Okay, problem number 1. If I add 1 plus 1, is it going to eliminate it? If I add 1 and 1, what do you get? 2. Is that eliminating it? ¿Lo canceló? No. What if I subtract 1 minus 1? You get 0. Does it eliminate it? Yes. So I'm going to subtract. Okay, subtract, because that's going to get rid of it. So if I subtract the whole thing, subtract 1x minus 1x eliminates it. 0x, right? What about, this is a negative 1, right? What about 4 minus negative 1? What does that give you? 4 minus negative 1. Put it in decimals. 4 minus negative 1. Gives you a positive 5. So now I have 5y. So right here, when I subtracted these two, it gave me 5y. Bring down the equal sign. Then 13 minus 3. 13 minus 3, 10. Okay? Last step, divide by 5, cancels. What's 10 divided by 5? 2. That was pretty simple, I think. Some of you might not think it's simple yet because you haven't practiced it. So that's part of my answer. Okay? Is that my x or my y? So I have to put it right here. So I still need to go find the x. Okay, I still need to go find the x. So I'm going to take this y and I'm going to plug it into one of these two. Uno de estos dos. Whichever one is easier. I think this one is easier. Right? So I have x minus y. Right? What's my y? 2. Equals 3. Solve. I have an x right here, I have a number here, I have a number here. So I need my numbers together on the same side. Change the sign, that's plus 2. So what's x equals? What's 3 plus 2? 5. So there goes my x and my y. This is where my two lines cross, right? That's where they cross at 5, 2. So that's my answer. Let's practice another one. Which ones look alike? The X's or the Y's? ¿Cuáles se parecen? The Y's, because they both have a 3, right? So I am going to cancel the Y. I'm going to eliminate the Y. Okay. One is a -3. One is a +3. Do I add or subtract them? If one is positive, see over here, they were both positive. So I subtracted. Right here, one is positive, one is negative. So I am going to add. If the signs are the same, you subtract. Same signs. If the signs are different, you add. So if you want to put the sign, the notes right here, I subtracted because they were both positive. Right here, I'm adding because one's positive and one's negative. Okay, so put the symbols there. So I'm going to add. Put a plus right here. You are adding the equations. When I add -3 plus 3, it gives me 0. I already put it in here. -3 plus 3 gives me 0. I couldn't subtract it because that gives me a -6. Okay, I need it to cancel out. So it needs to give me 0. That's why I added. So these two will cancel. And then you add up the rest. So what's 10 plus -2? 10 plus -2. Gives you positive 8x. So this right here is 8x. What about 18 plus 6? 24. Okay, we're almost done. What's the last step? Divide by 8. X equals what? 3. 24 divided by 8 is 3. So that's my X in my solution. So here's my solution. 3 goes in the front because it's the X. And then I'm going to take that number and plug it into one of these on top. I'm going to use this one. So I have 10x, my x is 3, minus 3y equals 18. What's 10 times 3? 10 times 3? 30. Minus 3y equals 18. I need the numbers together on one side. So this 30 is going to go over here. Change the sign. So it's minus 30. So put it in the calculator. 18 minus 30. Negative 12. So I have negative 3y equals negative 12. And then the last step, divide by negative 3. Divide by negative 3. Cancel. Y equals, what's negative 12 divided by negative 3? Put it in decimals. Positive 4. So my y is 4. So this is the solution. This is where my two lines are going to cross. Okay? Let's do one more. One more. Which one can I get rid of? The x's or the y's? The x's, because they're the same, right? Do I add or subtract? Subtract, because they are both positive. If they were both negative, you subtract. If it's a positive and a negative, you add. Okay, so I'm going to subtract everything. 3 minus 3 cancels. Negative 4 minus 2, put it in decimals. Negative 4 minus 2. Gives you a negative 6. That's negative 6y. Negative 6y equals. And then negative 14 minus negative 2. Negative 14 minus negative 2. Negative 12. Okay, what's the last step? Divide by negative 6. What's your y? Negative 12 divided by negative 6. Positive 2. No, positive 2 because it's a negative divided by a negative. It should be a positive. So my part of my answer is something, comma, 2. Right? That's a comma. So I need to find my x. So I'm going to plug this y into one of these two. It doesn't matter which one, so I'm going to use the second one. So I have 3x plus 2. What is my y? 2. So the y goes in here, 2. Equals negative 2. So I multiply these two. 2 times 2 is 4. That's a positive 4. 3x, bring it down, equals negative 2. What do I move? The 4. Move the 4 over, change the sign, minus 4. Because I want to get the x's on one side, the numbers on the other side. So the 3x comes down, equals, what's negative 2 minus 4? In decimals, negative 2 minus 4. Negative 6. Last step, divide by 3, divide by 3. What is my x? In decimals, you're going to put negative 6 divided by 3. Negative 2. Okay, so that's my x, negative 2. That means these two lines cross at negative 2, comma 2. Okay, these two, when you put them in decimals, they intersect here, negative 2, comma 2. Okay, you're going to do delta math assignment. One of them is just asking you, what are you doing? Do you add or subtract? So you make sure that you paid attention. You need to know whether you're adding or subtracting, and are you canceling the x's or are you canceling the y's? Okay? That's 4 problems. Then the other 4 problems is actually solving it, okay, using elimination and telling me what the solution is, where they cross. Okay, so go sign into Delta Math and do the problems that at the very top that you haven't done yet. I think they're in blue.